Hey lovies, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Witchy Wednesday. I have a really awesome and interesting video for you today. So I think it's about time that we kind of dip our fingers into the world of sacred geometry. So if shapes, math, a little bit of the elements, archangels, if all those things kind of resonate with you, then definitely keep on watching. So the very awesome people at Earth Family Crystals had reached out to me and they said that I can pick a couple items from their shop. So I picked out this one item and I will share that with you guys. But I saw this crystal grid and you guys, I screamed. I knew I had to have it, and this is the main star of this video, and that is the Metatron's Cube Crystal Grid. How beautiful is this? And it's huge. I saw that it was somewhat big, but in my hand obviously is on the small side, but just to get a perspective, this grid is huge, and I really can't thank the guys over at Earth Family Crystals for sending this to me. So this video is semi-sponsored. I do have a code and I'll leave that below. So when you use that code, I don't really technically get commission off of that, but I do get store credit, which I find really, really awesome. So if you guys decided to purchase either this crystal grid or other items from their shop, I will get some reimbursement in a form of a store credit, and that could possibly allow me to purchase some more things and review them here with you. But in any rate, I really wanted to discuss Metatron's Cube with you on this channel anyway, because it's my favorite by far sacred geometry shape out there. I've been studying sacred geometry for about a year, and I know that when we first started learning about this in our coven classes, our high priestess showed us a really cute video of Donald Duck explaining kind of sacred geometry and mathematics. I believe they call it like math magics, which is just so awesome. So I'll also leave that video below if any of the witch moms are watching and they kind of want to get their children into sacred geometry and all of the benefits that come along with that. It's an excellent, excellent video to watch. So I'll leave that below. So yeah, I'm super excited to start. So before we begin kind of doing and jumping right into the grid, I really wanted to break this video up into a few segments, so that way you know about Metatron, you know what the crystals do in their formation of the grid. And when you're sending your energy out and you're creating a grid like this, it's always very nice to fully understand what you're doing and what you're setting out and the energies that you want to kind of set out and also gain. So that's kind of why I want to just talk a little bit about what the shape means to me, means to my practice, and maybe that can kind of inspire you to take apart this shape and work with it on what aligns with you. Okay, so first, who is Metatron? Now, I'm going to just say super briefly what I kind of value him as, but again, you guys, I can be teaching you this for years and I'm pretty much just skimming the surface, especially with sacred geometry. This is a lifetime type of study. So if you were very interested in Metatron as the archangel, I highly suggest either reading or searching other YouTubes, and there's dozens and dozens of videos explaining Metatron and his energies and who he was. So, but for the sake of this video, Metatron at its pure basis is an archangel. and he is so powerful. He's really referred to as the scribe of God, like very similar to Thoth, if you practice that. So it's all about wisdom and creation and pretty much universal law. So I know that Metatron, and he sounds so awesome, right? Like Metatron, like I think of Dogma, I think of Metatron from like Supernatural, like just these really, really cool characters. But he's like, you know, just in other words, beyond the matrix, just universal, beyond like what we can even imagine. So, and something that is very that's very awesome and interesting about Metatron is that I think there are only two archangels that were actually humans. So you have like Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, like all of those L type of angels, they all kind of sound similar because they were archangels, whereas Metatron, and from my research, was an actual human that transformed into an archangel. So very, very interesting. So at the base level, that's who Metatron is. And if anything, I just would like you to know that he is just a universal, all-encompassing energy. So about the cube. The cube in its general form, in its general meaning, is a representation of how energy flows throughout the universe. So it's perfect balance and harmonies with what you see here. So I will start with the circles. So these circles here represent female energies. They don't represent the female, they represent female energy. Whereas these lines that you see here, 78 in total, represent the male energy. So it's kind of like, you can see that all of these lines kind of go into that female, even more so representing like fertility and things like that. So these are the very simple meanings of your circles and your lines. Within the cube, you have your 5 Platonic solids, and that are your shapes, right, that are found here. So you have your tetrahedron, which is associated with fire. You have your hexahedron, which is associated with earth. Your octahedron, representing air. You have your icosahedron, the water element, and dodecahedron, which is either your ether, your universe, your spirit, however you want to kind of relate to that type of energy. Now, the grid, it really houses a bunch of other popular grids. So I'll take this one, for example. This one's really scratched up because I do use this. But you have your 13 sacred circles, your fruit of life. So you'll see that within here, and it's through the infinite, right? So if you kind of have this guy here, you can see him. He's here, as you can see in here. And this is just infinite and infinite. So you have your 13 sacred circles. You have your 13 sacred keys of creation, which is found in the Metatron's cube. And a lot of other types of associations that we'll get into a little bit later on. But yeah, for sure, at its core, you have the 13 sacred circles and the 13 keys of creation that is solely found in your Metatron cube. Okay, so let's talk about numbers, because numbers and sacred geometry kind of go hand in hand. And numbers, in my practice, with tarot or any divination or anything that I'm practicing, numbers also play a very key role. So numerology. In my practice and how I work with the Metatron cube is that we have really 4 distinct numbers that we work with. We have the number 13, which I kind of just went over. We have the number 4, the number 6, and the number 12. So let's talk about the 13 one more time. So we have the 13 archangels, and I have a really beautiful set of crystals that associate with the archangels that we'll go into a little bit later on. So there's 13 circles representing the 13 archangels. It also represents the 13 chakras, which I also have aligned to the archangels. And of course, your 13 keys of creation. Now, if you break 13 down into numerology, 1 and 3, you get 4. And 4 universally represents foundation, family, symmetry, stability. So if you were to, let's just say, look at the tarot card, 4 of Wands, that's universally meant as, you know, home and foundation. Like you'll see the sticks with the wreath around it. So it's 4 is a very, very special number in numerology, because whereas other numbers can fluctuate in their meanings, 4 is always about stability and unity. Now let's talk about 6. So how we get 6 is from the 78 lines, the male energies. So 7 and 8 is 15, and 5 and 1 is 6. So 6 represents, in numerology, unconditional love, balance, harmony. So what I find very, very, very interesting about the Metatron's cube, and you guys, this is going to get a little deep from here on in. So if you want to pause or kind of regroup or come back to it, definitely do that. I hope that this video is a learning experience for you and you can grab some inspiration and take this, write some notes maybe in your book of shadows, and work with it on your own time. If you look, we have symmetry here. It could be split, or it can be split this way. So I like to think of the Metatron's cube also as a zodiac wheel, a wheel, astrology wheel, or the wheel of the year. So if you're looking at it this way, usually we have our Sabbats and Esbats that follow the light half of the year, and we have it following the dark half of the year. We can also use it as for your astrology, where we have the houses. And the houses represent certain things. So if you are looking into astrology and you start, your 12 is here, and then it starts all the way down. So from your top half of your astrological wheel in regards to houses is more of your adult life, right? And your bottom is your earlier life. So I find that very, very interesting, and I'll tell you why. If you look at these circles, and we'll get into it, this one represents Raphael. This one represents Michael. And this one is Jophiel. So Jophiel is wisdom. Michael represents courage. And Raphael means healing. Okay? So say if we go to the top half, we have Raziel, which is your spiritual insight. We have Uriel, which is your intelligence and your thought. And then you have Jeremiel, which is your prophetic visions. Now take a look at how that works, right? If we're talking about your younger self, you would need your healing and your courage and your passions to kind of figure out where you want to go in life, right? The courage to kind of go through your adolescence and your pubescent type of energy. And it takes a lot of courage, right, when you're younger, to kind of make your mark on the world. And then you're healing because of all of that growth that you do. But then when you move onto the top half of this Metatron cube, you get to your adult life, maybe your spiritual awakening, which you have your spiritual insight, your intelligence, like prophetic visions. These are all more deeper thoughts. So it's just interesting, right? It's just starts to make sense. And I know that you guys can really take a look at this shape, this sacred geometry shape, and it might really be just super overwhelming. But when you peel it back like an onion and you start to see the little bits of shapes and how they call to you, you absolutely 100% should meditate on this. Once you meditate, all of those energies, all of the Platonic shapes, they really start just kind of popping out at you. So there are a few key shapes here, at least in my practice. You'll see the pentagram here, which is representing all of the elements as we reviewed in the Platonic shapes. You have your triangles here, which is representing of as above, so below, which is also very important in my practice. And you have the actual cubes, where Metatron cube came from. So if you see here, we have this cube shape, but I kind of want to take this kind of a little bit step further and draw it out for you, because it really is hard to see. Because once you get this shape and not think of it as a two-dimensional item and more like a four-dimensional, ever so rotating around you, you can really sense the inner energy of Metatron. So let's kind of do this exercise here. So if I draw this out like this, I think it'll be easier for you to kind of see where I'm talking about. So the first cube here can be found here. So once you see this, it's almost like one of those things that you see, like those memes or whatever, like once you see it, you just can't unsee it. Like something is in the background. So there is your first cube, right? Super, super simple. First cube. Then you have your second cube, which is really in the inside. And again, once you see it, then you'll always see it. And there's your second cube. And then this goes on and this goes on for, it goes deeper and deeper and deeper, and it extends out. So all of this energy, I have to say again, is just infinite. It's infinite energy. So awesome. So there's so many things that you can kind of pick apart, whether that's your astrological. So every sign of the zodiac is here. Every modality is here. Every element of your zodiac sign is here. It's just how you choose to work with Metatron's cube is really the point of this. Okay, so now that you have gotten some information on Metatron and the geometric sacred shape of what Metatron's cube means, or at least to me, it's now time that we can actually build our crystal grid, and it makes more sense to us, or I would hope so. So let's start with Metatron. So Metatron in Kabbalah, when we're kind of going down the tree of life, Metatron means or represents the cosmic gateway. And this is a beautiful, like, sardonyx stone. And I absolutely just love this stone. Well, actually, Metatron is more popularly known to be associated with watermelon tourmaline, but that ish is expensive, and it's kind of semi-rare, so I kind of have this really awesome substitute, a little bit more cost-effective, and you can find this easily in your metaphysical shop. But if we're talking about the cosmic gateway, universal law, I love how it's black and white, and it just shows that symmetry and duality. It's a perfect Metatron stone. So we're going to bounce up to Uriel. So Uriel is good for a cosmic gateway. And he is associated with this amber stone. Come down to Jeremiel. We use the amethyst stone here. And he is a stellar gateway. We go to the right, which is Sandalphon, represented by this turquoise, beautiful turquoise stone. Camiel, this really awesome green fluorite. It's really nice, and I love when the fluorite is just green and doesn't have the purple in it. Coming down, we have Jophiel with the smoky quartz. That's your base chakra. Azrael with your honey calcite. This is your earth star. Coming down to Mikael, your solar plexus, using the labradorite stone. Haniel is your sacral chakra, using this beautiful moonstone. Coming here, we have Raphael, which is your emerald piece here, Smoky quartz is my absolute favorite. I'm a sucker for a smoky quartz, but I do love a really nice emerald stone. Zadkiel is your lapis lazuli, coming in with your throat chakra. Your last two is Raziel, your soul star, with your citrine, and Gabrielle as your crown chakra. Oh, I have this backwards. The Gabrielle is your citrine and Raziel is your clear quartz. I'm sorry. So these are your stones for your archangels. Super powerful, really packs a punch, and they mean a lot. So at this point, you can really just take your connector stones. So these are just raw clear quartz points, and you can connect the middle stone, which is your Metatron representation. Right, and you can take your generator stone. This one's kind of big. You can take your generator stone like this. I really like to use this one because this is a really pretty, like, clear quartz with pieces of tourmaline. So it kind of gives me that, like, extra protection. Or you can use, like, an ethereal stone. You can use whatever stone you want. So you can activate your crystals, and I do have another video of how to create your own crystal grid, and that goes through activation, so I'll leave that below. So I'm not going to spend too much time with that, but you can activate your grid and leave it as this, or you could take it a step further and really make this grid work for you. The point, or my specific crystal grid here, is really to really ignite that creativity, that inspiration. It's all about the betterment of myself and helping others in need. That's really the sole purpose of this entire crystal grid. So it really packs a punch. It's not just for one thing like psychic abilities or creativity or, you know, to find answers. It's really just a whole well-rounded betterment of yourself. And by you being your better self, you're allowed to help others too. So I wholeheartedly believe that. So if you want to stick around and see how I charge and activate my crystal grid using affirmations, then we'll continue. Okay, so we're gonna take this custom, well, I got this custom made. This is essential oil that represents my Taurus energy. So I'm gonna take a little bit, and you can take any really essential oil that you love. I can also do this with bergamot, so I can kind of get an added type of energy of my matron Rhiannon. So I'm just going to take my finger and I'm going to draw the pentacle on my third eye, and do this as many times as you feel that you're ready to move on. I'm going to take our generator crystal. And it can be anything. It could be a wand, it could be your finger, it could be anything. So we're going to first tap on the Metatron sardonyx. We're going to tap this because, in essence, the center stone is what really radiates throughout the crystal grid. So if we're talking about this in relation to Metatron's cube and the archangels, it's really just a beautiful, harmonious way to kind of get Metatron's energy and work with all of the archangel energies. So we start with activating this stone first, bringing it to your third eye, coming back down, tap to your third eye and tap. And again, do this. And of course, you're going to be doing this as you're meditating. Have some candles going, have some incense, be possibly in your ritual wear, and do this when you feel aligned that you're ready to proceed with the rest of the grid. So I like to speak my affirmations so that when I truly activate my grid, I'm speaking words of power, right? You want to speak words into existence, not just be. So I have the sardonyx. I'm going to tap the sardonyx and I'm going to go to Uriel, the amber stone. So I'm going to tap and say to Uriel, I ask to gain the knowledge to assist in teaching others and children. Tap to Jeremiel, I ask for prophetic visions and positive change through emotions. Tap to Sendelphin, I ask for truth and the ability to energize through music. Tap to Camiel, I offer peace, comfort, and love so that I may spread it. Next, you're going to tap to Jophiel. I ask for patience, wisdom, and illumination. I inspire my work onto others. Next, we have Azriel. I ask for comfort and grief so that I may share hope to those who need it. Then I tap the Metatron to Mikael, again, which is the solar plex. I ask for courage and strength and protection. Tap to Haniel. I ask for passion, grace, and beauty. Harmony of the world's creatures. Tap to Raphael. I ask for healing for myself and others. Tap to Zadkiel. I ask for compassion and forgiveness for myself and others. Tap to Raziel. I ask for spiritual insight. And lastly, I tap to Gabrielle. I ask for creativity and good news. You want to kind of give a little bit of a round because the Metatron's cube is also bound by 2 lines, if you would see it. And that's it. So I would recommend that if you're going to be doing meditation, spell work, if you have this out, while constructing this grid, I think it's really good practice to really cast a circle, do your affirmations, create your grids, work with the archangels, meditate, work on your grimoire, and have this really near you. And you can have this for a long time. As long as you take this apart, charge the crystals, and you can redo it, you can have the energies, these beautiful energies of the archangels near you at all times. So let's just see. I want to unbox the other gift that I got from Earth Family Crystals. Okay, let's see here. This wasn't really, I think I can open it through here. Yeah, it's better. Oh, it's a mug. Oh, how cute is this? It says magical babe. Oh, this is so cute. I'm loving it. I love, love, love. So I can enjoy some coffee, some tea while I'm really practicing my Metatron's cube. But again, I really want to thank the folks over at Earth Family Crystals for sending me this cup, and it's really gorgeous. I really can't even explain how in love I am with this crystal grid. It's big, it's useful. So again, I'll leave my code down below, and I hope that you like this video. Please give me a comment. If you are into sacred geometry, I would love to hear your thoughts below. And on to the next one, guys. Bye.